Hi, my name is Diogo and I'm a co-founder here at Rocks. Today, I'm going to tell you about the monitoring aspect of Rocks, which is a very powerful feature that allows you to keep an eye on all accounts across your entire territory. I'm sure you've heard the principle around the right message to the right person at the right time and how this allows you to maximize buyers' engagement. Well, this is truer than ever in today's world where everyone gets completely bombarded with information and we purely live in an information overload world. You'll see throughout our product across different demos that Rocks addresses in one way or another all these three components: the right message, the right person, and the right time. Today, I'm going to show you how we address the right time component. We can leverage Rocks agents to run a lot of the search and discovery and surface information proactively to you on your behalf. There are three types of information that the Rocks agents will keep an eye on for you. The first one is press releases related information. This is information such as news events, earnings calls, blog posts, press releases, job postings, things of that nature that the Rocks agents are continuously monitoring, and if there is new information that is relevant, you will know. The second type are agentic searches and discoveries. Now, the agentic search and discovery is something that you configure that can be a niche search, where the Rocks agents will periodically search for this information and then alert you when there's something new there. Examples are public information such as board meeting information or meeting minutes for public schools or municipalities, which is public information, but not necessarily in the news. I have configured one example right here in my Rocks account where I am continuously searching for earnings calls every single week. I could also use the news monitoring service, which I am, but often I have very specific pieces of information that I'm looking to monitor. The third kind of events that we have are coming from private data. Private data is your CRM, your data warehouse, or any sort of activities that you have, such as email, calendar, or your transcripts. I also have an example in here that shows how many days have gone by since I last emailed anyone at one of these accounts. So what I'm going to show you next is an example of how Rocks takes some of the information that is being reported to you and how it can turn it into something that you can quickly turn around and engage with prospects without having to spend too much effort thinking what to do with it. Ready? Let's dive in. In my email, you will see that Rocks sent me a notification earlier today about events that happen across a variety of accounts. Let's scroll down to Oracle's earnings call and click here. Give me a short summary because I'm actually interested in learning what happened. So you can see that the first thing that Rocks launched into is to learn about the earnings calls report and pull out the main aspects out of these earnings calls that are relevant to me. So it is talking about the record revenue, the strong financial stability. The overall Oracle had a very, very good quarter, in particular in their cloud business division. Now, this is very good, and Rocks is already suggesting a couple of action items, but what I want to know next is how to use this information in the context of the people that I have been in touch with. Not generically, there was an earnings calls and kind of studying this, but is there anything in here that is relevant for me to engage the context that I've reached out to previously? So let's see how we can do this. Because Rocks launched that chat interface, now we can just go ahead and ask it, what part of the earnings call contains information that is relevant to the contexts I've met or that I've met or exchanged emails with. So what I want Rocks to do is now look through all my past history, transcripts, calendar, meetings, and emails, and contextualize information that came in the earnings call. Also see if there is anything in there that is relevant to the people that I've met that could give me a very good way for me to re-engage. So let's see what Rocks comes back with. Great. So Rocks came back to me and is already highlighting a couple of key parts that are pretty important. So it is doing a recap of the information that we've discussed in the past. That should be top of mind. Most of it is focused on Oracle Cloud, not surprisingly, and then is already connecting already connecting this information to the information that is coming from the earnings call transcript. And so in here now, what I want to do now that I jog my memory in terms of like what did we talked about in the past, what I want to do next is what I want to specifically leverage this information to start reaching out to some of these folks. So if I were to restart the sales conversation with my past contacts, what are the most important points to reference to them and why? So now what I want the Rocks agent to do is to tell me how should I engage these prospects. I have the context around what we've talked about before. Now what I want to know is how do I go ahead and engage these folks? All right, very good. So you can see that Rox is already referencing a few key things. So obviously the numbers of the earnings calls are a very important point for us to hit. Any strategic shifts that they are recently underway, such as heavy investments in artificial intelligence and automation, is also called out. As you can see, that earlier discussions were centered around the pain of manual processes for building pipeline, and there is openness to pilots that use public data, where Rox is already calling out that we have the ability to provide frictionless onboarding and support pilots that minimize IT and data security roadblocks by focusing mostly on public data. So Rox is calling out some of this information that is in here, but the most important part is you can see that in the suggested actions, Rox is already nudging me towards drafting an outreach email or even schedule a follow-up meeting with some of the folks that I've already met. So let's go ahead and do it. I could click directly here so the email would go out, but what I really want is draft me an email with this information, a very short and concise email with this information so I can re-engage my past contacts. Okay, let's do this. What I want is I want to take all this information, package it in an email so I can now send it out to my contacts and hopefully restart the conversation. So let's see what Rox agents will do for me. Great. So Rox opened an email message, very short over here. It left it blank because I didn't specify who I wanted to address. And he's already calling out the latest Q&A results. It's calling out past conversations that we had around improving automation, efficiency, and piloting with public data for OCI. And so this is a great opportunity for me to reconnect. This hopefully demonstrates how we went from receiving an earnings calls report to contextualizing it with all the information, with all the past exchanges that we had with these contacts, all the way to writing an email ready to go on how we should re-engage some of these prospects in some of the topics that are top of mind, in this case, Oracle Cloud, since Oracle had such a stellar earnings calls. So hopefully you found this video helpful. We should give it a shot, try Rox for yourself, and we can't wait for you to go ahead and check out all the other features available in the product. Thank you.